What is up, everybody? This is All Things Entertaining here, bringing you with another video. But before we get into that, please hit that like button and tell me what you guys think about this video. Also, if you have not, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that way you guys can stay up to date to all of my latest videos. So, anyway, without any further ado, we have a first place OCG Madolche deck list, which is kind of a unique thing because right now I think the top circuits of the OCG lane is just filled with Salamangreats, Sky Strikers, and basically the same cookie cutter stuff that we've been entrenched in for the past half a year. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into this actually incredibly unique deck profile. So we have one Phantasme, one Madolche Pudding Cess, two Madolche Messing Gelato, three Madolche Petting Cessor, 3 Madolche Mageline, 3 Madolche Angeli, 2 Madolche Hookcake, 1 Madolche Ash Blossom and not Madolche Ash Blossom, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 3 Max C, 1 Effect Failure. Now do keep in mind that the OCG does have a Max C at 3 as well as they also have Harpy's Feather Duster, as you can see here, also at 1. They also have Ash Blossom semi-limited in the OCG, so that do keep in mind that if you don't want to play it this way, or if you can't play it this way because we can't play Max C, you can play alternative cards, like you can take out one of these Max Cs for another Ash Blossom, etc., etc. But for the most part, I think this is kind of an interesting deck list for the most part. It's just, your standard stuff. Mageline is just a really good Stratos-like card. It just adds Madolches to your deck. Your hand does nothing really need to be said about there, but also if it's sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle it and shuffle this card into the deck, so it's pretty good. Pudding Cessor pretty much redefined the deck almost immediately by itself. We did have the new Link Monster, but that wasn't quite enough to make the deck better, but this card does a lot of work for the deck. But if you guys have not read this card before, or if you guys don't even know what this card does, if this card is in your possession, is destroyed by an opponent's card or sent to the graveyard, shuffle it into the deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Madolche monster from your hand or deck except this card. And if you do, reduce its level by 1. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Madolche monsters. So basically what you're going to do is, since you don't control, God tier hand is you with normal summon Mageline, search out Pudding Cessor, special summon Pudding Cessor. Pudding Cessor will then special summon your Pudding Cess out of the deck, and then you can just he'll reduce it to 4. You can just overlay this with your Pudding Cessor, or you can overlay this with your Pudding Cess to make your Tiramisu, and then Tiramisu can then go into your Pudding Cess Chaka-Ala mode. So it's a pretty good card. Messing Gelato is actually just here for the fact that you can add a Madolche spell trap to from your deck to your hand. It's kind of like, your way to get to your tickets, and it's way to get to your chateau if you need to, but the deck should be consistent enough not to do that. Madolche Hookcake, it targets a monster in the graveyard and then banishes it, and then special summons a Madolche monster from your deck. So it's a good card, really good for what it does. Banishing your Madolche monsters is it's fine. It does what it is what it is. So it's pretty good. Also, yeah, you can banish. It's any monster in the graveyard, so like if you're going second, you activate your Ash Blossom on your opponent's turn, your Maxi or your Ghost Ogre or Effect Veiler. You just banish one of those cards from your graveyard just to get a free Madolche monster out, so it's pretty good in that aspect. No need to really explain why the hand traps are here. Phantasme is also in here as well. Don't really need to explain why those cards are good cards. So let's just jump right into the spells and traps. We have 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Pot of Extravagance, 3 Called by the Grave, 3 Cross Out Designator, 2 Madolche Ticket, and 1 Madolche Chateau. Basically, this is the fill spell that basically allows you to reset your entire deck. You can recycle this multiple times. This way, you only play 1 Chateau. So it's pretty good. Madolche Ticket, whenever a Madolche is returned from your side of the field or from your main deck or into the main deck from your graveyard as well, you get to add a Madolche for free, which is pretty good. And then if you control a fairy type Madolche monster, which all of them are, I think, you can special summon the monster from the deck in the attack position, so it's pretty good. The Crossout Designator, we don't have this card yet. It is coming out in Chaos Impact, so for those of you who have not seen this card, it is very simple. It's actually a really good card. Declare one card name, banish one monster with the name from your deck, and if you do, until the end of the turn, negate the activation of negate its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of this card on the same turn with its original name. So basically what it does, you banish a hand trap, or you banish like Call by the Grave, or you banish another card from your deck. You instantly negate the effects of all the other all copies of that card that are in your opponent's deck. So it's good for stopping generic cards. So yeah, and Extravagances here is because you draw 2 cards. It's easy to see why. And for the last 5 cards, you got 2 Impermanence and 3 Solemn Judgment. For the extra deck, you're playing triple of all the Madolche extra deck monsters. You're playing 3 Chocolate Mode, 3 Tiramisu, 3 Glass Shuffle, and 3 Sistart. Because you're playing Extravagance, if you banish any number of copies of these, it's probably fine, unless you just like get the super unlucky thing and you banish all 3 of your Tiramisus, which should not happen. So it's quite good for you to do that, just so you don't lose immediately. And then you're playing 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, and 1 Mrs. Radiant because they're good cards. So yeah. Anyway, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Like I said, tell me what you guys think about this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been All Things Entertaining, signing out.